is Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
If you hear COVID-19 or coronavirus every second sentence, don't touch that dial. We are still ZiFM Sport and we are still coughing up the best stories in the world of sport. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to it. It's a Tuesday evening right here on your favorite station, and we deliver your favorite sports show in studio. Mark Pozzo, Barry Manandi, Alois Bunjira, our producer, Sean Tafirinika. My name is Mike Madoda. What can you look forward to the show? On the home front, the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League 2020 season could be delayed after President Emerson Mnangagwa declared the COVID-19 a national disaster. We have our weekly staple, the Formula One report, proudly brought to you by Zimoco, where Charles Leclerc says Ferrari's Formula One rivals should trust the FIA's decision to keep details regarding its engine settlement private, calling it understandable.
In Around the World in 60, Rugby Australia Chief Executive Raylene Castle says Sanzar is looking at a domestic solution to the Super Rugby season due to cross-border travel bans. Six-time Super Bowl champion and long-time New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has announced that he is leaving the New England Patriots after 20 seasons. And in the incredible gesture, New Orleans Pelicans rookie star Zion Williamson has pledged to cover salaries for workers at the team's basketball arena for 30 days following the NBA's action to suspend gameplay for the season.
In the beautiful game, we kick off with news that UEFA has postponed Euro 2020 until European summer of 2021 to allow European leagues more time to complete their seasons amid the coronavirus pandemic. In the Premier League, with speculation still rife over Paul Pogba's future, Manchester United have extended the contracts of midfielder Nemanja Matic until 2021, and in La Liga, Real Madrid are interested in signing Tottenham striker Harry Kane at the end of the season, but they will have to stave off competition from Juventus. And in the Bundesliga, according to club president Uli Hoeneß, Bayern Munich have entered talks with Thomas Muller, Manuel Neuer and David Alaba over securing their long-term futures at the club.
The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis. From Rufaro to Barberfield, Mandava to Nyamunga, all the perfect moments in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League come together on ZiFM Sport.
Right, let's kick off on the home front where season 2020 in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League could be delayed after His Excellency President Emerson Mnangagwa declared that COVID-19, or popularly known as coronavirus, is a national disaster. The campaign is expected to start in the coming weeks once the league and the main sponsors, Delta Beverages, have completed the signing of a new deal, but the commencement is now likely to be put on hold after the government has banned all public events and gatherings of more than 100 people until further notice. Now, earlier today, the Zimbabwe Football Association had advised the Premier Soccer League that all Harare venues are not eligible to host the upcoming league season due to their poor state. Harare has National Sports Stadium, Rufaro and Gwanzura as the main stadiums, but they have all failed the initial inspection. Alois Bunjira, our football pundit, is in studio, a man, of course, with a keen knowledge on the game as it's played here in Zimbabwe. Umdlalo wetu, mutambo wedu, and of course, Bunj always delivers. Alois, that announcement by the president working in tandem with, of course, the news that there are no stadiums in Harare, it will buy those venues a bit of time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a bit of time. We spoke about it as well, and it's for me, I think there are a lot of things. that were going. Even if there was no corona, the league I don't think was going to be starting anytime soon.
Why do you say that?
You know, because there's no fixture. There's been nothing to suggest that this league.
But they always release the fixtures literally, I think, a week or two before the games always start.
There's been a lot of issues. The stadium issue is the other one, and then we have got the rentals issue as well. That I don't see it happening anytime soon. But anyway,
they say that's going to be resolved by Friday, I think it is.
Yeah.
That they'll have the judgment on the appeal.
Only if rentals win the appeal, win the case. Because if rentals doesn't win the case, I don't see it ending there. So yeah, but now we have a situation.
But what other recourse would Herentals have? Because Herentals have come out and said that they're not going to take it to the courts of law.
Yep.
That they're going to have it play out in the football sphere. So this is their appeal. They've already made an appeal. So if the ruling is made on the appeal, what are the recourse do they have?
If we take their word, yes, but they've got it's their right to take it.
However, any challenge in the courts of law doesn't put a stay of execution on the judgment that was given in the football courts. In essence, they'll be out of the league. They can fight it and then maybe win it later on and possibly get reinstated.
But they'll be out of the league.
But they'll be out of the league, and the fixture can be published without them.
You think so?
Yes, in the courts of law.
Yeah, in the courts of law. That's how it works.
We think the courts don't stop the league. They can't. So what's the purpose of them going to CAS when the league is going on? If they win the case, then what happens with the league that is going on?
As soon as the judgment from the appeals committee of the Premier Soccer League is handed down, that is the highest court of appeal in Zimbabwean football. In Zimbabwean football, yes. Meaning that any other challenge that is made is going to then have to redo the process. In other words, if they go to the Court of Arbitration of Sport, it doesn't hold the judgment that was initially given in abeyance. The judgment holds and is executed.
Okay. And what happens if they win the case?
If they win it, then they get reinstated and
the games that have been played, then the Rhinos get kicked out, and then
they then find out. They then find.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay, we'll find out more about that. But like we said, now we have a situation whereby we have these stadiums that are not fit. But the surprising point is that we have got other stadiums like Vengere Stadium being homologated ahead of the National Sports Stadium, ahead of Ruvaro Stadium, and it brings a lot of questions to the issue, like what exactly is being used, what's the criteria, then you start thinking it's deliberate, probably to push an agenda. I don't know, because I'm telling you, I've been to Vengere Stadium. There's no way. I don't know why football is being played there.
But I think isn't work being done? Because I think Rusape City Council has been working at Vengere, so they've done some improvements, just like Sakuva as well. They've done some improvements, so maybe we wait to see. But I totally understand what Alois is saying, that if you then can homologate a stadium like Vengere, even if refurbished, or Sakuva, even if refurbished, and then you tell us that the National Sports Stadium is not a facility that can host Premier League matches, then questions have to be asked. That what is so wrong with the National Sports Stadium that you can't host Premier League matches?
It's a real struggle, because you look at that list, the ones that have been authorized and approved: Barberfields, Luveve, Gibo, Vengere, Zishane, that's Mandava, and Baobab Stadium in Mondoro. Not there, Sakuva, which we understand has been having some phenomenal work done, which was reaching its near completion about a week ago. Also not there, Ascot in the Midlands. So in truth, this, I agree with you, Bunch. It smells funny.
When you say phenomenal work, I mean, do we know exactly what has been done? I'm listening to Bunja. At Sakuva, at all of these stadiums. Yep. I'm listening to Bunja, and he's not sure on a couple of these stadiums, and I sort of agree with him that. What are they actually doing?
I think Sakuva, they've done very well to disseminate information, and some of the journos out in Mutare, I think, have done a phenomenal job of actually showing visually what's going on at the stadium. They've worked on the perimeter fences, they worked on the changing rooms, they're working on the tunnels, they worked on the field of play itself. And I think with Sakuva, it's not about bringing it up to CAF standards. It's about making sure that it can host our local Premier League matches.
Games, exactly.
That's what they are gunning for.
And in truth, for me, Sakuva wasn't far off already. And
it has always been that close.
It's always been very close, and if they've done work on it, I would be very interested to hear why the ZiFA first instance body decided that it wasn't fit for play.
Okay, let's get to hear from you as well. 0731 168 045. That's our WhatsApp number, 0731 168 045. Get in touch with us. You can also follow and interact with us at ZiFM Sport. That's on Twitter. Now, guys, just very briefly, the announcement made by the president. Now, that's 60 days, okay? The ban, that's 2 months. Is it 2 months that we have in terms of football? What does it mean? Does it mean that the league is going to be pushed to a point where we might have to play through the months of December and January, which are traditionally our wettest months in Zimbabwe, and possibly even February? Do we have fields that have the drainage? Because the one season where we tried to play during those months, 1998, 1999, which Highlanders won the first of the 4 league titles, it was an absolute shambles that season in terms of how the drainage at some of these stadiums worked out.
It's going to be difficult, Mike. Maybe we might just say right off the season for me, because we've already lost 3-4 months now. We are already in April in 2 weeks' time. So I think we can write it off, or else we can just say, you know what, if we want to salvage this, we play 1 game each.
Yeah, that's a suggestion, because writing off, I don't think writing off is an option, because sponsor obligations. They're also the clubs themselves. They want to be twiddling their fingers for 12 months.
In my view, I reckon that let's say if the league was going to kick off at the outer extremities and in the first weekend of April, we'll still be able to conclude it by about the early part of December. So let's say
first
the 2
week
weeks
of April, Barry. You're being liberal. We might be in the throes now of COVID-19.
I'm saying if we were going to kick off at the latest possible time, we would have kicked off in the first week of April. So that gives us 2 weeks now. So then if we work 2 months, we then say minus the 2 weeks, that means we're losing about 6 weeks if we kick off at the time of the 2 months running out, the 60 days. So we kick off then, we've lost 6 weeks. We can make up 6 weeks of football with midweek encounters as we go. What it's going to remove definitely is the 2 week break in the mid-season when we have the mid-season window open. That we can't have anymore. We have to laugh that off. That means that we've got 4 weeks to fill, in truth. And can we find 4 match days in midweek during a season?
No, but Barry, but you're not putting in place the CAF dates. There's going to be CAF football action. 100%. There's going to be Champions League football. There are going to be AFCON
also
qualifiers
with backlogs as well,
that are going to have to be put in place as well. World Cup qualifiers are going to return. Not everyone is going to be holding their programs in abeyance for the local league to take place.
Agreed.
So it's not just a matter of making up 4 weeks.
We've got to possibly, in the time that we have, obviously under 100 people need to get into a room and have a conversation around scheduling, because I had missed that part, and I believe that we all have to caucus as a football family and slot everything in, and I believe it can be done.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
All right, let us know your thoughts. 0731 168 045. Bunch says, right off the season, at the very least, 1 game each way, just 1 round of fixtures in the Premier League. And there's also CAF and FIFA to consider. Lots of chaos in the world of football, all caused by the coronavirus. Now let's give you a local sports news roundup as you let us know your thoughts on our WhatsApp platform. Golf news: the Zimbabwe Open Committee, in consultation with regional stakeholders, has postponed the 2020 Zimbabwe Open Golf Tournament to a date to be advised in light of the global health developments. The decision will be kept under constant review against the background of increasing concerns around COVID-19 pandemic. The latest development in South Africa and the region has left the committee and the Sunshine Tour with no viable option outside the postponement of the tournament. Going to rugby news, utility back Brandon Mudzekenyedzi, who plays for Waikato Rugby Union in New Zealand's Mitre Cup, has confirmed his availability for the Zimbabwe Academy in this year's Super Sport Rugby Challenge and the Sables. Mudzekenyedzi left Zimbabwe with his family as a youngster and has developed into a terrific rugby player, breaking into New Zealand's second-tier competition where he plays on the wing and at centre. He met Sables coach Brendan Dawson and team manager Jason Merritt Maritz, who were in New Zealand last week on attachment at Super Rugby side, the Hurricanes. And we ended in mixed martial arts, where Zimbabwe's Temba Gorimbo, the answer, defended his EFC welterweight title against the previously undefeated challenger from Australia, Lyle Karam, in the first EFC event of the year at Times Square this past weekend. Karam got his takedown in the second round after he slowly cinching up the triangle choke to seal the deal and continue his reign as the welterweight champion.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. From sunny Melbourne to the streets of Monaco, the deserts of Bahrain to the jungles of Brazil, get up to speed on the Formula One Report. The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
The Formula One Report proudly brought to you by Zimoco. Zimoco isn't just about Mercedes, but we are also home to the latest car to take Zimbabwe by storm, the Hvar. Let's start with the Hvar H1 compact crossover, which has been a smash hit sales success in global markets and is also loved in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's trending urbanites, sporting fresh looks and lots of features as standard. The H1 represents a very affordable crossover attitude. Its raised ground clearance makes it a confident runner in the urban jungle and on gravel roads, and the interior's host of entertainment features make sure that the road trip never gets boring.
Let's also take a look at Hvar's H2. It is a small family SUV equipped with all the bells and whistles. The 1.5-litre turbo engine with a 6-speed automatic gearbox features a 3D fashionable multifunctional dashboard showing fuel consumption and distance remaining on your fuel tank. The H2 also features all-round airbags to keep your family safe, dual zone automatic air conditioning to keep your family cool, and keyless entry system for ease of entering the car when your hands are full and your keys are in your bag or pocket. Your passionate journey only requires one push of a button to start, and the perfect combination of park distance control and a reversing camera provides accurate reversing information. It also features a touchscreen multimedia screen with Apple CarPlay, electronically adjustable seats, daytime running lights, and the option of a panoramic sunroof. So stay tuned for more information on Hvar, available at Zimoco.
Right, let's get into the F1 news, where Charles Leclerc says Ferrari's Formula One rivals should trust the FIA's decision to keep details regarding its engine settlement private, calling it understandable. The FIA announced last month it had reached a private settlement with Ferrari regarding its 2019 power unit after repeated questions about its legality through last year. The statement did not confirm the engine had been legal, with its issuing sparking fury from Ferrari's rivals. Let's hear from Formula One analyst Nati Saunders, who says the lack of transparency is the main source of controversy.
The other thing you've got to understand with why the other teams are taking this incredibly seriously is that the money they receive from Formula One is related to their championship position. Now, again, we're not saying that the Ferrari was illegal. We're not saying that that its results should be ripped up. But without any transparency on why this agreement is the thing they came to, then you know, there has to be a question asked of like, well, wait a minute, are Ferrari's results, are they still valid? Because until we know exactly what this agreement was about, we don't have any clarity on that. Now, no one is saying that. No one is saying that Ferrari should be chucked out the championship at this stage, but we need to know what was in this agreement, why this agreement was reached, and why it's been shrouded with such secrecy. I think part of it, and if you were to look at it from a Ferrari point of view, obviously you have intellectual property, there's a lot of technology in that engine, and perhaps, you know, there's elements that aren't allowed to be put out there because, one, they haven't been found guilty of anything, so they don't need to kind of expose any of that, and it's intellectual property they've invested in, so why should that all be kind of put out in the open? But I think really what the teams are looking for is not even that, it's more of an explanation. And as you say, the statement that was put out by the FIA didn't offer a satisfactory explanation of what had happened and where they got to and how they come to that conclusion.
Okay, so guys, Saunders is saying the lack of transparency is the main source of controversy here. That's number one. But for me, Would you say that the FIA could not conclusively prove Ferrari's engine had been operating outside the rules in 2019, and they didn't really do their homework properly by accusing them?
Listen, I think Ferrari are in the clear. I think so. And the reason why they want the stuff kept under wraps, I think because divulging too much then really reveals some of the secrets of the trade as far as the engine is concerned. And then that's where Ferrari's concern is that, you know what, if you go into the nuts and bolts of your investigation, then you're going to let all our trade secrets bare, and we're not going to have any competitive advantage. I think the teams have got to trust the FIA as the custodians of the rules of Formula One to make the right call. They've made a call that Ferrari was innocent, and I think the other teams should just trust the process in pretty much the same way they trust the process in every disciplinary process. Why are they so concerned that the FIA is hiding something this time?
I truly agree with you and believe that Ferrari found the secret sauce. They weren't outside of the rules, but they found a way in which to play in the rules that none of the other teams were doing to get the straight line speed that they got in the last season.
Now,
and I agree with you.
That's clever, isn't it?
It's clever, and also I back the FIA for at least respecting the fact that, you know what, these guys haven't broken the rules. They've found, let's call it a loophole in inverted commas, and they are using it. Let's not make the results public, because then we're letting everybody know, and everybody does.
But it might not be a loophole.
No, I'm just saying, just for an example, because it's well within the rules. They're not breaking the rules. They've found the secret sauce, a way in which to get the sort of straight line speed that Ferrari got last season that no other team has gotten, because it was phenomenal.
Through ingenious engineering.
Exactly.
And having the best engineers.
And the FIA has respected that and said, you know what, we doff our cap to you. We're not going to release this to the world, because it'll obviously sell you a secret sauce.
And Mercedes, I think the sign for me that these teams don't have much credence is the fact, Paz, that Mercedes have pulled out, because Mercedes was part of the group, that wanted to hold the FIA's feet to the fire. Now Mercedes are saying, okay, you know what, we're going to stick with the ruling.
Yeah. So, but now the teams that are disgruntled, they're saying 7 teams jointly issued a statement saying they were surprised and shocked by the FIA statement, adding they could seek legal action. Now, obviously, we know Leclerc, who won 2 F1 races for Ferrari last year, expressed his full faith in the team when asked by motorsport.com for his thoughts on the matter. Even Formula One teams were unhappy with the lack of transparency and apparent failure to address suspicions about the power unit, and issued a joint statement on Wednesday demanding clarification. But as you say, Mercedes have backed out.
And for me, that's a clear indicator that they don't have much faith, I think, in the credibility of their case. And therefore, they're going to pull out.
Well, let's see what happens. I'm sure that will be a developing story.
Unless they have found the secret source too.
Exactly.
And they intend to use it.
I suspect so.
And now let's go back to Hvar, and of course both the H1 and the H2 models come with 3 years, a 100,000 kilometer warranty, as well as a first free service at Zimoko at 10,000 kilometers. With this amount of luxury and at amazing affordability, the Hvar H1 and the Hvar H2 most certainly give their competitors a run for their money. Visit our Zimoko showroom today, and one of our knowledgeable sales executives will take you on a test drive so you can experience these vehicles for yourself.
I hope that review of the H1 and the H2 excites you. If you aren't excited yet, well, we'll excite you even further. Wow, we would like to remind you that, and also potential customers, that our body repair center at 24 Douglas Road is really upping the stakes, and we've opened it up to all makes, models and brands of vehicles. Whether you drive a Nissan, Mazda, whatever you drive, we are able to sort it out. Whether you have an annoying scratch on a panel, a complete accident damage repair, or want to load the load bed of your pickup rubberized, Zimoko has all the equipment and expertise to get the job done.
Our 2 Standox painting booths are state-of-the-art in our electronic color matching technology. Make sure that we exactly match your vehicle's original color. Our turnaround times are quick, and our service is one of the best quality. Please call us today on 754-303 up to 8 and ask to speak to one of our body repair center service advisors, or email us on brc@zimoko.co.zw.
Just make sure you don't come 100 at a time.
The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
Hi, I'm JC Krill, Springbok and Blue Bulls backline player. You are listening to ZiFM Sports.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
A takeoff is down under in Sydney, where Rugby Australia Chief Executive Raylene Castle says SANZA is looking at a domestic solution to the Super Rugby season due to cross-border travel bans. In the wake of the outbreak of COVID-19, SANZA followed the example set by other governing bodies around the world and suspended Super Rugby for the foreseeable future. While the suspension is expected to last for longer than the rumored 2 weeks, there would still be the issue of how the competition would finish when it does resume. Over to Massachusetts in the United States, where six-time Super Bowl champion and longtime New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has announced that he is leaving the New England Patriots after 20 seasons. In a post on Twitter titled Forever Patriot, the six-time Super Bowl champion announced his football journey will take place elsewhere. And we touched down in New Orleans, where New Orleans Pelicans rookie star Zion Williamson has pledged to cover salaries for workers at the team's basketball arena for 30 days following the NBA's action to suspend gameplay for the season. Williamson took to Instagram to announce the donation and his appreciation for the staff since his arrival in New Orleans after being selected number 1 overall in the 2019 NBA draft.
Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say, your way.
Operator.
0731-168-045. That is our number right here in the studio, and you could be like Grizzly out in Wesley. He says, good evening, ZFM sports team. Despite all the coronavirus issues in the world of sport, you are doing a phenomenal job. So we get compliments and kudos, guys, for continuing despite the fact that there's not much to report on in the world of sport. It's just cancellation after cancellation. Uncle G has this to say: maybe this is the perfect opportunity to start our football league in September, ending it in June the following year, concomitant with other football leagues worldwide. And we run into the problem of drainage, don't we?
We have that ambition. We all dream about aligning our league with the rest of the world. We dream about it until our facilities are fixed.
I've always thought, though, that surely, guys, the problem of drainage is one that we can fix.
It is.
In terms of a quick win.
Yes.
If we get groundskeepers that know what they're doing, let them out now. Like if we're saying, okay, we're going to start the league in September. Right? They've got enough time right now, Barry. If people are willing to invest to sort out the drainage, to set out the turf, actually, if certain fields need relay, so be it. If the soil needs to be changed, so be it. We can do it right now, between now and September, and then see if we can go, because there's nothing wrong with playing in the rain. You know, I've heard people saying, it'll be raining. So what if it'll be raining? Have they seen what these guys in Europe go through? They play through sleet and snow sometimes. Okay, so let's not breed these weak footballers who say, come on.
I've always been an advocate for this fact. If we're changing our calendar, let's change it. We will not fix the stadiums until we have a problem, until we change it. It's never going to happen if we do that. If we keep saying, the facilities and also, we'll never fix it. You don't give us your name, but you say, hope ZIFA and government are fixing the stadiums up to CAF and FIFA standards. Knowing our ZIFA and government, they hide behind coronavirus instead of working hard to restore home matches to the National Sports Stadium and Barberfield Stadium. It's a golden opportunity for the national team and indeed our league sides as well. All right, this one says, hi guys, I think we have plenty of time to complete a season, even if we start late in May. Our problem is that we postpone games for silly reasons. Even if you factor in other competitions, we will finish. Last season, we played games on a FIFA weekend, so we can do the same this season.
We're not supposed to do that. That's not ideal. We're not supposed to play on a FIFA weekend. Our national teams should be playing on a FIFA weekend.
Carlington finishes off and says, our national team is made up of foreign-based players anyway, so that should not affect the league. So Carlington reckons that we can finish it off.
That mentality is wrong.
That mentality is wrong. I do, however, believe that even if with the late start, I think we have enough wherewithal. If we plan and we schedule.
I'm with what you say, or with what the previous, the first message you read said, which is it's a wonderful opportunity for us to realign.
Yes.
Or to get aligned
That
with
is
the international
wonderful.
calendar. For me, this is the perfect opportunity,
And
guys.
it has to go with what you said about the facilities.
Work on the facilities, work on the turf, work on the drainage, because for me, it's not about the rain, it's about the drainage.
It's about the drainage, yeah. And for me, we don't fix the drainage until we're playing in the rain. So let's change it. Last time when ZiFM had the vote, I would have said, guys, let's go for it. The drainage, we will sort it out as we go. As long as we start, and we start cancelling games because of waterlogged pitches, that's when we will fix it.
But that's what we did that time. We started cancelling games.
Yeah, but then we pulled out. We pulled out. That was the problem. We did one season and we pulled out.
Yeah.
We need to stick with it. We make the decision and we go with it.
Yeah,
That's the only way we fix it. We stick with it.
Even if it takes us 2 seasons,
to
get it right,
we will get it right.
But like you said, Mike, it's not difficult. Why don't they just do it? Just fix. It's just the drainage. Get it out there.
Kennedy Ndebele, if you're listening,
it's just the drainage.
Advice from Alois, who's wearing his Nike sweater, is just do it.
It's drainage.
Just do it, Kenny. Change the calendar.
All right, and then let's wrap it up with Clarence in Glendale. He says, guys, I'm enjoying the show.
ZiFM stereo is untouchable.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport.
All right, now UEFA has postponed Euro 2020 until the European summer of 2021 to allow European leagues more time to complete their seasons amid the coronavirus pandemic. The news was first confirmed by the Norwegian FA on social media. According to their tweet, the competition will be played between the 11th of June and 11th of July in 2021. The decision comes after UEFA held conference calls with its 55 member associations, the board of the European Club Association and the board of European leagues. Let's hear from football journalist Brian Swanson, who explains the technicalities of the announcement.
We are now beginning to see is that UEFA have made it clear in one or both of those calls that the European Championships are definitely off, postponed for a year. Big questions about what happens next. Interesting that this has come from the Norwegian Football Association. UEFA still haven't confirmed this because technically it needs to go to their UEFA Executive Committee to rubber stamp it and then announce it. So there will be an irritation from UEFA, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that important who announces it. It's not that important either that this is postponed because that was always expected, particularly because we've all been wanting clarity and confirmation in such an uncertain world. And what UEFA will now be trying to do is answer the questions that a lot of those associations will have in terms of the impact on the international calendar and, of course, this morning from the domestic calendar. What now does this do for domestic leagues and competitions? This potentially frees up space in June and July subject to this pandemic, easing subject to there being not a peak in the end of May going into June here in the UK. That will now be for the authorities here in England and in Scotland to decide what happens to their leagues. But the significant developments that have been announced by the Norwegians through their Twitter feeds that yes, Euro 2020 has been postponed, with it due to start on the 11th of June next summer, according to them. We should point out we are still waiting for official UEFA confirmation on that, but it just looks like they've gone first with this announcement.
The confirmation has subsequently been given by UEFA, so it will run from 11th of June to the 11th of July in 2021. That is the Euro 2020. Bunj, decisive.
Yeah, they're very decisive. You know, we're talking about it. 55 associations.
Yep.
They make a conference call and make a decision.
One afternoon.
One afternoon. And it's done. Something that we failed to do. We go around, Ningo was out of office. We couldn't get hold of it. There was a network problem. You know, we go in circles.
And he wasn't on his facts.
Yeah, exactly.
What it does, though, Pause, is that it frees up an opportunity for the leagues of Europe to complete their leagues, because everyone is sort of suspended at the moment.
Yeah.
And that calendar change for Euro 2020, which was going to be the reason why leagues were ending early anyway, they now gives the latitude for leagues to end in June, some, if necessary, in July.
Yeah, I hope our football authorities are listening, that these guys can have a meeting all around the world and they can come to an agreement and make a statement on the day that they said that they would make the statement. And I think this is a good call, and I think they've done this and they've all agreed that, as you say, all the leagues around the world need to be completed, and that is the most important thing. Right. So I think this is a top decision and a great decision.
Off air, Michael.
Yep.
You said that when we are all done banging on tables and shouting and yelling and all sorts and struggling about football, the grown-ups will get into the room and make a decision, and real decisions will be made. Well, real decisions have been made because a lot of money was going to be lost if the leagues were told that they were completing their seasons or concluding their seasons before ahead of time.
Yeah, I think a lot of mistakes, the big mistake most people made was to rely on social media information where there are a lot of vested interests. People saying this, people saying that. But I think when you looked at it in the cold light of day, that there were too many things that had to be done or had to be preserved. And there was no way. A lot of people say, oh no, Liverpool was never going to be given the title, and I just laughed it off because it's good social media banter, and so forth, fans taking a poke at Liverpool fans, etc, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, the consequences of not finishing the league were a lot graver than for them, of course, to reschedule the leagues.
Because hundreds of millions of dollars and pounds.
Yeah, and they estimated it came up to about 800 million that it would cost the Premier League in terms of TV rights revenue by just cancelling and stopping and say, okay, you know what, the league is not good. Then there were also the legal issues. The legal issues around promotion, relegation.
No, it's massive. Then this has been the right call.
And then also how it affected UEFA. Why UEFA was willing to play ball? Because the participants, for example, of the UEFA Champions League, where do they come from? They come from the leagues.
From the leagues.
They come from the top four of the league. How do you then decide who's going to play in the next edition of the UEFA Champions League? So there were a lot of issues. People were talking about the integrity of competition. To maintain the integrity of the competitions, they actually have to finish the league program. And also a lot of people got tied down in thinking that, there's a time limit. Next season has to start in August. No, next season doesn't have to start in August.
In December.
Yeah, it can start in October. It can start end of September, because remember, this is a global pandemic. These are exceptional circumstances, and people are having to reschedule. And I like South America. They've also come on board and said, you know what, the Copa America, which was meant to be played as well in the European summer, has also been shifted to next year. So they created that time for the major leagues and all the other leagues to finish their league programs.
As I said, grown-ups in a room sitting, everyone coalesced together, you can make the right decisions, and I believe we can do that in Zimbabwe as well. If we come together, we can certainly finish the season in 1 year.
All the rivalry.
Here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Catch him if you can.
All the stars.
Oh, back heels Liverpool 2 in front. Talk about impudence. Talk about improvisation. Talk about Sadio Mane.
And all the game-changing moments.
And Raheem Sterling rattles it home. And once more, City are in front in a trice.
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
Right, let's go to Manchester, where speculation is still rife over Paul Pogba's future. Manchester United have extended the contract of midfielder Nemanja Matic until 2021. Matic had entered the final 12 months of his existing deal, but the club have triggered an option in his contract to keep him at Old Trafford for another year. The Serbia international struggled to hold down a regular place in the team at the start of the season and said he was unsure if he will remain at United next season. Bunj, obviously injuries to Pogba and Scott McTominay enabled Matic to return to the side and become a fixture in United's 11-match unbeaten run. Let's look at this two ways. For you, Paul Pogba must definitely be sold for United. Matic staying and having the support of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is that a good thing?
To be honest, a very good, well-behaved Pogba is good for Manchester United. I would want to think that maybe somehow he can just change to be a different person so that he can actually stay. Because I can actually think of him playing with Fernandes. That would be phenomenal.
Can I chip in and say I think two things that will assist will be Man United qualifying for the Champions League.
Yes.
And secondly, the business that they do. the early business
in the
transfer market. It mustn't be stuff that's left until the deadline transfer day. No, the business they do early in the first 2 weeks. The announcements they make
to get an excitement around the
absolutely
team.
To say we have got this player coming, we've got that player coming, and then all of a sudden Pogba is looking at that team and saying De Gea in goal, Maguire at centre back, Wan-Bissaka, Bruno Fernandes and myself in midfield. Rashford is going to come back. All of a sudden there's a good team there, and that might keep him. But if they don't move on the transfer market,
and also the belief that Solskjaer's methods are beginning to pay dividends, whereby he's watching this side that's winning games.
Yes, now
he's thinking to himself,
you have to fit
hang on, this guy actually might have a bit about him, and he's actually putting a side together that's winning games. We could be onto something here. I think that's going to be on the Pogba side. That's going to make him to make a decision.
Where at the same time, Matic re-signing is actually good backup. Should he stay? So it's actually good backup, good depth for the team. I like it. I'm happy with that signing.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic. All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
Reports out of Spain indicate that Real Madrid is interested in signing Tottenham striker Harry Kane at the end of the season, but they'll have to stave off competition from Italian side Juventus. Kane hasn't played since New Year's Day because of a torn hamstring, but trained alone last week as he stepped up his recovery from injury. The 26-year-old has frequently been linked with a move away from Tottenham, where his current contract runs until the end of 2024. So Harry Kane now, of course...
I've enjoyed my time at Tottenham, maybe it is time to move on.
Yeah, Barry, obviously aided by the fact that, the season has sort of been put on hold, so he may actually have a bit of a part to play towards the end of Tottenham's season this time out. The Euros are no longer going to happen, so he's not under pressure now in terms of trying to get his place back in the England squad, so he's going to be back. You take a look at Real Madrid. Is this a signing that you think they could be contemplating? They've already got Karim Benzema, and of course they got Jovic as well.
Yeah, I think that it is a transfer that they are pondering, because what they have in Benzema is a player who works hard for the team, but they need a reliable, hot and cold. They need a reliable, hot finisher. That you get with Harry Kane. Harry Kane is one of the best in the business.
And both teams in Spain, both the two big teams, in fact, the three big teams in Spain at the moment, they all need a number 9.
That's true.
Because you take a look at Real Madrid, they're looking at Kane. You look at Barcelona, apparently they've wrapped up Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. He looks like he's headed to Barcelona. Then Atletico Madrid, they need to replace Diego Costa.
Yeah, Diego Costa slowed down.
Yeah,
slowed down. He's not as prolific. He hasn't been scoring goals as well. And Harry Kane looks like a perfect fit for both the Madrid clubs.
Yeah, for all three.
Even for Barcelona as well. Because he scores goals. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And when you play for a team that creates even more chances, at Tottenham they were not creating as many. You know, when you go to Spain, you play for Real Madrid or for any of the big three, they create chances.
Yeah.
You know, he will bang them in because he's sure-footed. He has got the height. He scores all types of goals.
He absolutely is sure-footed, and one of the best in the business is Harry Kane. Now, one of the bright prospects in football, Mexican winger Irving Lozano, is probably ready to hit the restart button on 2020. Napoli's boss Gennaro Gattuso made it very clear that it is likely that the winger will play for his team, since Gattuso replaced Carlo Ancelotti at Napoli. Irving Lozano has not been in consideration despite being the most expensive signing this campaign. So we'll see how that one plays out at Napoli.
Right, a quick stop in the Bundesliga, where, according to club president Uli Hoeneß, Bayern Munich have entered talks with Thomas Muller, Manuel Neuer and David Alaba over securing their long-term futures at the club. The former Bayern president has revealed that the German champions are keen to tie down the veteran trio and 2 others to new contracts, with 4 or 5 important players entering the final year of their current deals. Hoeneß has also hinted that interim boss Hansi Flick is set to be rewarded for steadying the ship at the Allianz Arena since replacing Niko Kovac in November.
Right, looks like that's about it. Barry, any messages coming through?
Yeah, let's have a look here. Bringing Harry going to be a fantastic signing for Madrid, Mike. He will be better than Hazard, he reckons.
Yeah, Hazard has been a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Injuries haven't helped.
Injuries.
You know, he plays 4 games and then he's out for 3 months.
I'll
Comes
give you
back.
the benefit of the
Isn't
doubt.
that true of Harry Kane, though? Because for me, Harry Kane has missed out on the Golden Boot in the last 2 seasons because of injury. He's missed a total, I would say, of about maybe 20 games so far. And he's injury prone. I think there's going to have to be management wherever he goes.
Well, he's been competing with wingers. That's... Take a look at it. Take a look at it. They're all the guys. He's sort of like the only guy apart from Vardy.
Yeah.
Take a look at the guys he competes with for the Golden Boot. Aubameyang actually operates wide.
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah is a winger. Sadio Mane is a winger. They're all wingers.
Yeah.
But guys, so Lewandowski wants to finish his career at Bayern Munich?
Yes.
Really?
For him, he doesn't feel the need because he's at one of the biggest clubs in the world.
No,
Bunjira don't feel the pain.
He needed
He
to
needs to go
test
where?
his prowess at Madrid or Man City. You know, it gotta be. I don't know, man.
You can say it. And United.
Somewhere there, man.
Because I think the problem with guys at Bayern Munich is that it's not a problem, and I actually love them for it. They see themselves as an equal to Barcelona and Real Madrid.
They're at the biggest
just like
clubs,
PSG.
Yeah, so they don't feel they need to our PSG. I think is a small club, but Bayern Munich certainly. I think their players don't feel like they need to move elsewhere. They believe they're already playing at the very top.
100%. All right. PSG is a small club.
Yeah.
On that bombshell, let's wrap it up. We'll catch
Farmers
you tomorrow.
League in France.
Oh my God. May God richly bless you. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.